so important. Why is it important? Because we spend 90% of our time doing it. We need to learn to get along with others. We need to work in groups. How many of you know somebody who, from whatever situation you know them from, they're very, very smart, and they should be doing lots of great things, but they can't get along with others? Nobody wants to work with them. Nobody wants to be their friend. Nobody wants to do those things because no matter what knowledge they have to share, they can't really get that across to people. They can't really share that with people because they don't have the people skills, the skills to get that along. Children simply, it's part of child development. We know children need to develop academically. We watch their physical development. Their social and emotional development is a piece of that, and it's something that we need to help them with, and it's something that we need to teach if they don't already know how to do it. If they don't know how to behave, if they don't know how to get along with others, we have to teach them that. And so children simply need those skills to get through life. How do we teach skills? One of the main things that we do is we teach adults. Like I described earlier, we often deal with adults who don't have the skills. They don't understand where this child got this fitting from. And the child will come in, I always tell parents at the beginning of the year, you believe half of what they say about me and I'll believe half of what they say about you, and believe me, you're getting the better end of that deal. Because they come in and tell it all. Daddy slept on the couch last night, does my mama have to come sign me in because she's got diarrhea? We know all kinds of things about moms and dads. My favorite was a little girl who stood up in share time, and she's this cute little girl, I'll never forget her. She says, my mommy got a new job at Hooters and she doesn't want anybody to know. They'll tell it all. So when it comes to those kinds of things, we realize they come in, when these children come in and they tell you, my mommy and daddy are fighting or whatever's going on, and you realize in the home we're looking at an overall lack of those skills. I hope we're not looking at any of that with teachers, but it's not enough to necessarily just teach children. We need to help adults learn those kind of things too. We need to make sure that the stuff we're doing is developmentally appropriate. When we are expecting things out of children that they can't do yet because they're not there yet, they become frustrated and they become angry. When we ask, I was telling Pam during the presentation, when you problem solve with children, one of the things that I always talk about that little girl with a September birthday. How many of you have her in your class? She could pick up and teach if you weren't there. We've got her. She's the busybody. She knows everybody. She knows what everybody's book bag looks like, what their coat looks like. She can match all that up for you if you're not there. Those are the children that find it the easiest to problem solve because their language is the best. She's going to step forward and say, oh, let me just tell you what happened. He took the keys from me. I had him first. And she's going to give you the whole story because she can tell it. And a lot of times, she'll tell a story about something that doesn't even have anything to do with it. She's like, teacher, we need you over here. They're having a conflict. And she's the one. I went into a classroom last week where I work, and teacher was running late, and I went in there and I'm like, I'm winging it. We've all had those mornings. This is a classroom I'm not typically in. I'm winging it. I don't know these kids. I'm like, hey, sweetheart, because I have no idea who these children are. So I'm like, okay, pumpkins, let's get to your tables. Let's do what we're going to do. And I start handing out puzzles, and this little girl goes, we don't do puzzles in the mornings. And I said, well, this morning we're gonna. And she says, Miss Walters would not like that. And I was like, well, I'm not Miss Walters. Sit down in your seat. Was my response to that. So we all have those children that have these skills, and as a teacher, it's very important that we don't get caught up in that we realize that there are some that may be a little slower to speak, not have all the words that we want them to have, those type of things that need to be heard as well. And sometimes little busybody Miss September birthday can also help us with some of the details.